Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Rusty Beauty's Garage. We are on the 75 TR6. I don't know what episode that is. I lost track already, which is a good thing. This means that we are working hard. And like we said in the previous episode, we made the hard decision that we're gonna have to take this engine out of the car and rebuild it. I spoke to Trevor and we're both on the same page that the engine is too tired and trying to bring it back to life by taking the head out, for example, and cleaning valves and trying to see if we can bring the compression up. It's not the right way. The best way is to take it out and rebuild it, start fresh, and this way he's gonna know that he has a brand new engine in his car. Well, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because for me, for someone who has only one usable leg, it's hard to take an engine out of a car. But we can start from somewhere, and if we need help, we can always call Chef Tash, who is a good friend, and I'm sure that in exchange of a couple of Diet Cokes, he's gonna come and help us here. So anyways, we're gonna start and we will see what we can do ourselves, and if we have some troubles, we're gonna call him. So let's get crack talking. And as you can see, she already made a big puddle underneath, so definitely the engine needs some attention. I don't know if that's the oil filter or it's something else, but we're not even gonna investigate it since we're taking it totally apart. So it's 8 p.m. I have a power hour here and I'm debating where to start from. And I'm thinking, since we're gonna be pulling the engine, the most logical thing to do is to pull out the seats. And I know this doesn't make too much sense to you, but it does make a lot of sense to me, because we're gonna have to take the transmission cover out anyways for multiple reasons. First of all, because when we're taking the engine out, we need to have access to the bell housing bolts where the engine and the transmission are connected, and the best access is through here. But we also need to take the dash support out because we're going to be installing a new stereo there and stuff like that. So the seats are on my way anyways. And the other reason why I need the transmission cover off is because, you know, we have a leak on the transmission, and we determined that it was from the 3 shafts on top of the transmission, the shifter, and we'll have to get to these anyways to change the seals or O-rings, whatever there is there. So it's a good idea to remove it now and have access to everything. Wow, look at that. Even the light is working here. Alright, so the transmission cover is out, and now you can see here clearly that the oil was dripping from here and going down all over the place. So now we have a good chance to take it out. We're gonna have to take the transmission out anyways, so we can take the engine out. I have a good opportunity here to fix this leak. Now you can see here we have access to all these bolts. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it myself, or I'm gonna need somebody on the other side as well. We will see. We will try to do whatever we can. But that was a good power hour here. It's just past 9 o'clock and we did a good job taking the interior apart. So tomorrow we're gonna start stripping the engine, get rid of all the auxiliaries, take out the carbs together with the manifold, alternator, distributor, need to drain all the coolant and everything. So that's gonna be fun, again, for a guy with a boot like that. But we have the creeper, we can crawl underneath, we can do whatever we need to do. Anyways, I got tired. Time for beer. Alright, it's the next day, and since now the interior is out and the transmission is exposed, it's time to start stripping the engine bay. And for that, it's best if we remove the bonnet, but it's hard for me to do it alone. So maybe later I'm gonna ask my girlfriend to come and help me. Right now she's making dinner, so I don't want to bother her. So I'm gonna start stripping whatever I can from the engine bay, and whenever she's available she's gonna come and help me. But I'm pretty sure she's not gonna want to be on camera, so don't count on watching that process. So first of all, I'm gonna go underneath and see if I can drain the coolant from somewhere. I'm pretty sure there's no drain plug on the rod, but there's always hope. And then I'm gonna start removing alternator, auxiliaries here, everything that could be on our way of removing the engine. We have to remove this cross member here for the frame. I don't know how much of that I'm gonna show you. It's not a lot of fun, so we'll see. All right, let's see how big of a mess we're gonna make. The question is not whether we're gonna make a mess. The question is how big of a mess we're gonna make. When you're ready with the Phillips screwdriver, it turns out it's a flat. Anyway. It's not easy, guys. Let's try that again. Okay. We're gonna let it drip here for a while we do some other stuff. Now we can start stripping here, whatever we want. Alright, here on this side we are almost done. The last thing I want to disconnect is the steering rack because it's on the way of the engine mount, and also this switch. I just wanted to take a video of the wires before I take it apart, because I remember I had some troubles with these wires on the 73 TR6, and instead of investigating after and following wiring diagrams, I can connect them this way, even though the anti-run-on valve on the other side is not going to be connected. But anyways, and I also wanted to show you here the steering rack. I don't know how to position you, maybe like this. When I shake the steering column, see, the whole steering rack is moving. So that answers some of the questions from the previous or the video before that. People were commenting that the steering rack is loose probably and it's moving. Yes, it is loose, you're right. So that's the last thing. And I have to disconnect the oil pressure line, and I would replace this line with a steel braided line because I have bad experience with one of these which exploded and made the entire car a mess. So I'd rather have a steel braided one here. This plastic is about 50 years old and it's not good. So yeah, we're almost done with this side. The coolant is still draining very slow, but you know what? I'm not in a hurry. I'm happy with it. As long as it doesn't make a mess, I'm happy with it to take as long as it takes. And just like that, the bonnet is by the wall. Okay, that wasn't too hard. My girlfriend came and helped me, and now we have more access to everything. So on this side, everything almost is disconnected. Only the ground we need to disconnect there, but that's going to be when we remove the bell housing bolts. And here in the front we're gonna have to disconnect hoses and stuff, but it's still draining, it's still dripping there, and I'm thinking at some point I'm just gonna close that. I'm gonna take this hose out and I'm gonna blow compressed air in it and see if that can blow some more coolant out. The valve for the heater core is open, so supposedly everything that's in the heater core can come out, but again, we will see. We're gonna have to blow air and see what's gonna happen. Let's see the other side. Here I removed most of the vacuum hoses and fuel line and everything around the carbs, disconnected the linkage from here, and now we're going to remove the bolts that hold the nuts that hold the intake manifold together with the footballs over there. These are supposedly easy to reach with long extension for our ratchet, and then it's gonna be the starter from underneath. This is gonna be pain in the butt. Here these bolts are always trouble. We're gonna have to, maybe I should soak them with WD-40 now and leave them for tomorrow to undo them. And then everything else is hoses, and then there's gonna be this cross member to be removed. And once this is done, then we can just support the transmission with a jack and then start lifting the engine and trying to slide it out and up. Well, we have to remove the rod too, I forgot about that. Anyways, a lot of work still just to remove it. It takes forever. It's much easier on cars like that one. Alright, let's see what's gonna happen now. So I'm assuming we emptied most of it. Well, I should have done that by now, but I don't know why I didn't do it, but I haven't disconnected the battery. So now though, in this situation, we're gonna have to disconnect that wire, and if we don't disconnect it from here, it's gonna be live. So we definitely, if we haven't disconnected the battery by now, this is our last chance. All right, good news, bad news. The good news is that this is now separated. The exhaust can come off this manifold. The bad news is that only one of them came voluntarily. The other three, I had to convince them that they have to come out. So anyways, it's out. So we shouldn't forget to order rods for here, because these are brass as far as I know, and we should order them so we don't have troubles assembling it. Anyways, now I can take out these bolts and take it completely out, and that's gonna give me a little bit more room for the starter. I took this bolt out already, and I noticed that here on the bell housing there's two holes that I didn't have bolts on. That tells me that this engine at some point came out. Alright, I came underneath to remove the bottom bolt from the starter, but I got carried on and I removed all this all the way up to there. I think I only left this one because if I remove them all, the engine and the transmission are gonna hang down and gonna open here, and that's gonna give me troubles at the top. So before I remove this last one, I'm gonna have to support the transmission somehow here, and then only I can remove this one. Oh, that's a lot of oil coming here. Anyways, we're gonna figure this out. Don't get distracted. So I can go up now, remove the starter completely. We're gonna come back later here for this one last bolt. All right, back on top, and the starter is out. All the bolts here on this side are out. Actually, as I showed you, these two were missing, so there was only one, and there are three over there that we can reach from inside, and the one underneath. Here at the front, all the hoses are disconnected now. I removed the canister from here, removed these arms. There are two actually, because it's 75 and it has those bumpers, I guess, normally the rubber bumpers. So still need to remove these on that side, and then we're gonna remove the rod and the fan so we can remove the cross member. So yeah, we are making progress. It's hot. It's really hot today. All right, the fan is out, the cross member is out, And we're still having trouble here with the steering rack. Can't believe that this is so tight here that you can't even take out the belt. So if you want to change the belt on these cars, you have to remove that cross member, and you also have to remove the steering rack. That's crazy. And to be honest, I don't remember that on the 73 that I assembled. I believe that the steering rack at least was not on the way. But anyways, this steering rack needs to be tightened anyways. We're gonna have to change those mounts. So we're gonna have to remove the brackets anyway. So I'm gonna remove them now and move it out of the way a little bit, because I'm gonna try to remove the engine by sliding it forward and then lifting it up instead of removing the transmission. So let's see if that's gonna work. All right, so the steering rack is out of the way and it wasn't that hard. Now still, we're not gonna be able to move it forward, I mean the engine, because of that. So we have to lift it up first and then move it forward. However, if we lift it up, that's gonna hide those bolts from inside. So first I'm gonna go and undo these bolts. For now they're fine, because naturally the rear end of the engine is gonna try to go down with the transmission, and that's gonna try to close this gap instead of opening it. So as long as we have the bolt underneath, the one last bolt underneath, we're fine. So I'm gonna remove these 3-4 on top, and then we're gonna bring the engine hoist, we're gonna hook up the engine, we're gonna suspend it, then we're gonna remove the engine mounts, we're gonna lift it higher, and then we're gonna go underneath and support the transmission to wherever spot it is at that moment, and then we're gonna remove the last bolt from underneath and try to pull the engine forward and then up. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just watch and hold my beer. This is what I'm talking about. These 3 bolts, if I lift the engine up, they're gonna be hidden. So now I can take them out, and then I have an inch here. So let's see if that's gonna be enough for the engine to go up. If it's not, then I'm gonna have to pull the transmission out first. I'm basically trying to avoid that because it's gonna be really hard for me to do it on my own here with my broken leg. So if I can avoid doing that, that's gonna be easier for me. There you go, they're all out. So now there's only one bolt down there, underneath, down there. Right, so this is my contraption here. The engine is suspended, these are pretty tight. So now we can loosen the engine mounts, lift it until we hit here the, well, I don't know how much higher we can lift it actually, but we're gonna try. If it doesn't work, then we're gonna remove the transmission, but for now I wanna try. And once we lift it up, we're gonna go and support the transmission and remove the last bolt and try to slide it this way. Okay, so both engine mounts are off. The engine is loose now. So now let's see if we can lift it so this here can come higher than the frame. I don't think so. That's how far we can go before it hits over there. What if we try to slide the engine forward now? We have like half an inch here, and so if we open this gap by half an inch, the accelerator shaft might end up in this gap, and then we can lift it much higher. You know what I mean? Right, so the transmission is supported, and the last bolt on the other side is removed. Can show you from this side, but there's, in theory, nothing is holding together the transmission and the engine now, so we should be able to split them apart. There you go. So now, come on, focus there. So now we have a big enough gap for the shaft to go in, and now we can raise it a little bit more here. Let's try that. Huh. There you go. We are off. Now we can slide it more forward. Huh. Okay, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like it's going easier than expected. Looks like it's out, guys. Okay, I'll put you on a stand. Alright, so the horse barn is empty. All the horses are over there and they already peed. I put it down just temporarily so we can take out the clutch, the flywheel, the rear engine plate and mount it on the stand. But I just wanted to take a look here and see what can be done to clean this up. So I told Trevor that when I take the engine out, that's a perfect opportunity for the engine bay to be cleaned up and painted. But can I do that? Well, that's not an easy job, is it? I don't know. We will see. First we're gonna take the engine apart and see what parts we need so we can order them, and if we need to machine it, we're gonna send it to the machine shop and everything, and then we're gonna take care of the engine bay here. We will see what we're gonna do. First of all, we're gonna clean it and see how bad the damage is, because there's surface rust here and there, that's for sure. But we will see if we can save it or it needs to be painted. I don't know. Well, there's a lot of oil there. I don't know if it is from the transmission or from the engine. It looks like it is the transmission actually. Anyways, we will see. Let's focus on the engine for now. Alright guys, so I think this is where we're gonna end this video. We took the engine out, and in the next video we're gonna start fresh by taking it apart, inspecting it, and all the things that we have to do in order to rebuild it. So anyways, thanks for watching guys, thanks for commenting and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye.